Hi, I'm John Reeves, and yes, we left out on Thursday a week ago and went to Honduras, and like Terrell said, it was rough. We did ride on the bus a lot, but there's a couple of things that did touch me. It was mostly the kids down there. It was we did a Bible school on Sunday afternoon after church service, and there was one little girl that reminded me of my little granddaughter that I got. It was almost identical to her. She was about 4, maybe 5 years old. She was sitting there, and I went over to get her to color. They gathered around for coloring in groups of 5. She was about the only one that didn't have a color in her hand, and I went over there and I kept trying to grab the crayon. She just looked at me, wouldn't grab the crayon, she'd just drop it. So I sat down there and got to coloring with her, and I ended up coloring her page for her whole page. And every time after I'd done that, I'd walk around and come back and look at her. She'd look down her page, look at me, just smile from ear to ear. It was like the greatest thing I could have done for her. And it was just a simple thing, it's coloring a picture for her. But what really touched me was later that evening, we went to a movie show and watched the Facing the Giants in Spanish, which I watched before, so I knew what was going on, which and but when we got off, it was really dark. You couldn't see anything hard. I mean, this place had no electricity, no lights or anything, but there was one little boy that I heard him call out, "Jimmy." I said, I know that voice. That was Oscar from last year when I was down there. And he had called me out and see me in the dark, shook my hand, and we entered, talked for a second through an interpreter. And next thing I knew, he disappeared, but he come back with his father. And he brought his father to meet me because I had given him my hat last year, and he took that hat home and gave it to his father. And then his father was sitting there, and even though we couldn't speak to each other very good, but he pointed to the hat, and I knew that he was saying that, Oscar, give me your hat from last year. So I thought that was a really great blessing, something, $3.50 hat, to bless somebody like that. So when I left, we left out of there, the last day on our construction site, had another hat, almost identical, and I gave it to the masonry that was helping us. Just kind of hoping it, blesses them too. And I'm sure we didn't see very many seeds that were planted, but I'm sure on the other side of heaven, we'll see what we did.
My name is Mark. This week it really touched me because at the construction site, you see there's probably all the men there, probably 11 or something like that. You guys there that are working from our team? 14. And out of the 12, okay, 12. And then you had the mason, which was, I guess, the guy that was overseeing it all. He was there in Honduras. And then you had all these little kids that went to the church. And they probably ranged from probably about 12 to 14. And you just see all these little kids just running around, just trying to get whatever they need to help out everybody else. And that really touched my heart because I was like, well, what they're doing is taking ownership of their church. They're helping out and building their own church. So when they get done, they can say, I helped build this church for my God. And which, that really touched me because there was this one little kid that, he must have not been more than like 10, 11. And he worked everybody. He was, if you called for anything, mezcal was our mud or mix. And if you said mezcal, he'd been there in like 3 seconds to give you it. It was just quick. And that really touched me because I was like, well, he's humble enough to give everything else, and yet he worked with everybody there, which that really touched me because I was like, well, he's doing it for the Lord. So
I just can't put into words what the dread meant. It was just awesome to see God working down there. And the mission trip for me began way before last week. It began last November when Bill Hadley asked me if I would go to Honduras this year to work on the Vacation Bible School team. And I told him I'd have to pray about it because I didn't see a way to be able to go money-wise. And I prayed about it. And in February, God confirmed that he wanted me to go. And I had to trust him for the money and for the time off from work. And when I committed to go, that's when Satan started working with all the trials and the testings. And God let Satan test me to see how far my commitment went. If I was ready to go down there to meet the people and to serve not my will but God's will. And I'm glad that he sustained me and he kept me faithful to my commitment, because while we were there, one of the interpreters that we had accepted Christ. He was 17 years old. And one of the drivers that drove us around, the VBS team, on Tuesday, he accepted Christ also.
Hi, first of all, I just want to thank everyone for supporting us. What really touched me were the people they just loved. They loved you. They didn't see anything but you, and they loved you. And my prayer while I was there was we'd get off the bus and they'd just be walking us. And my prayer was that they saw Jesus. They didn't see this fleshly body that sins and does all the things that are wrong, that they saw Jesus through us. We went to San Pedro and did Bible school, and the pastor there, when we got ready to leave, he asked us if we could come back, and we told him, you know, we hoped we could, but it was up to God. And he said, and it really touched my heart, he said, I don't want anything monetary, I just want you to tell the people about Jesus. And that says a lot, because these people are very poor. The kids came without, a lot of them came without shoes. And they're happy people. And I just hope that, I thought a lot about us going into our new church. And I keep on thinking, I hope we don't go in and put all of our efforts into the building and the beauty of the building. I hope we go in and remember whose it is and who we need to be worshiping, and not worship a building, but worship the God. Thank you.
On the last day that we was there, my dad asked me, what has God showed me? I said there's a lot of things I can live without, especially my 360. So then the night that we went home, I turned on my game and it was broken. It wouldn't play at all. And I think it was just cool that God was trying to show me that I can have fun without playing my game.